Hello, my name is Ilona. There was so much going on, so I just want to mention a few things. The World Health Organization has admitted that the strategy they are doing now with all these things, that it's inappropriate and unsustainable. It's very interesting. The World Health Organization is changing course. Also, the European Medicine Agency, so the EU drug regulator, is also, of course, correcting and saying the same thing, that this is not sustainable and not appropriate, so to speak. I'm just going to see if I can find the article. While using additional stings can be part of the contingency plan, repeated stings with short intervals would not represent a sustainable long-term strategy. The European Medicines Agency's head of strategy, I'm not allowed to say that word, starts with a V, Marco Cavalieri told a media briefing. So they are course correcting. I already did a card reading on that one in a Dutch video. And this is really Whitehead's changing course. They've got justice hanging above their heads, so they really are now, how do you say that? They don't really have very much choice. They have to change their course, and this is the start. So I'm really seeing this as the start of changing everything. And I think we'll be seeing more and more the coming weeks, days, things will come out. Major organizations are going to change course and change their, how do you say that? What they've been saying for so long. And this is interesting because this places a bomb underneath the pass, the code, or whatever they want to call it, because it's based on this subscription of stings. So if they're going to drop that entire pass will drop, obviously, because then people will not get the clearance and people will have to show up every 3-4 months for a new sting so they can qualify for their pass. So this is very interesting. Denmark, Extra Bladet, as a newspaper, apologized for their journalism and how awful it was that they didn't look into the government and the numbers they've applied. They weren't critical of what was going on around the world. Interesting, because I think in Germany, Bild, a German newspaper, also apologized for what they've been doing. And of course, you had the scandal that the government was asking the media to really heat up things that's what's going on around the world. So that came out a few months ago. So this is interesting that in Denmark they were also apologizing for that. I want to mention that I've posted a video on my channel that's from Valencia, Spain, from the police, that are reporting that they have contact with the police around Europe, in Portugal, Italy, France, Switzerland, Austria, Sweden, Germany, and the Netherlands to come together and form a front against the mandate and what's going on. So that's good to know. Things are coming together. People have to really understand that of course, we have these media, so we only see what they're reporting, and pretty much everything is fake, and you really have to turn it upside down. But these are very interesting things to hear. Spain also is considering what's going on as a normal flu. They still have this, but I've also got some reactions from people living there that less and less people are wearing them, which is very interesting. So I want to take a look at what's going on in Spain. What's the energy right now? This is the Nine of Wands. That's the card above. The central card is the Nine of Swords. That's interesting, 2 nines. We have the Ace of Wands in the past. Then we have the Devil underneath. And we have, I'm just going to turn it around. That's unfortunately happened before in another reading, but this is the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe I'll read it upside down. So I'm just going to take a look at this. Still a lot of old pain, so it can still feel like a lot of stress among the people of Spain. So it still looks like what is going on. Are we really getting better here or not? There is still some dark influences, but I feel that they are leaving. There's a plan going on, and it was now turned upside down. That's how I got the card. So it will seem like there's not a plan going on, but there is. So my feeling is that things will get more and more clear, especially because they've put this position out there that they're going to consider it as a cold, which is very interesting. So things are moving there as well, but there is still a lot going on the ground, I think. Still in Spain, things need to be cleared up. It's maybe that they've came across some things that they weren't expecting. So there's still a lot of stress going on, still a lot of old pain that needs to be cleared. But I do believe that more and more people in Spain are starting to resist this, are starting to we need to stand up for ourselves. Especially with that video from Valencia, you can really see that people are like, no, we're not accepting this anymore. So I think there is a change going on. I'm just gonna get another card for this is beautiful. This is for the future as well. So the plan will be put to action. It was upside down, but the plan is going to start and it will bring a completely new, beautiful energy there. So I do believe things are going to change in Spain, but right now there's still a lot of things going on. I do believe on the ground that they're still cleaning up messes there. And but it's going to change in a better way, and I do believe, and it's good to see that more and more people are coming together, standing up. So it's going to be beautiful energy ahead for them, but it's still not, the period now can still be very tough and experienced as stressful. So now I want to take a look at France, because apparently they've, I think it just went through Parliament, that the pass will only be for people with the wasp stings. So you're not allowed to test anymore if you've gotten it and you can prove that. That will not be sufficient anymore. You really have got to get the sting. So that's really, in a way, very strange. With all the other news, this is kind of a setback. And in France, they've been getting together and standing up for a very, very long time. So I'm just going to see what the energy in France is, and especially with Macron, with all his very strange remarks about he's going to tease and bully the people that did not get the wasp stings. And he was very open about his disdain and his disgust for people that did not get sting, which I saw as a white hat thing to do, because it's not the smartest thing to say to people in your country, and to just tell them that they don't have any rights at all. So let's see. We have the Ace of Wands. That's the card above. We've got the Two of Wands. That's the central card. We have the Two of Cups in the past. Underneath, we have the Knight of Swords underneath the central card. And we have the Wheel of Fortune upside down. So I'm just going to put him there. That's from another card reading I did. I'm just going to get an extra card, which is the Hanged Man. And the Magician. Okay, so there's a lot going on in the future. These are three great major arcana cards. So a lot going on. We have the Ace of Wands. So I do believe that there's a new energy in France, and they're pushing out things, just like all these remarks from Macron. I believe that that is purposely done by the white hats to really bring in that force that people are going to really stand up for themselves, because this still feels like people are still, a lot of people are demonstrating, or at least standing up for themselves, but there's still some people who are just complying with the system. This is really to wake them up, and I think it's going to work. So the Knight of Swords is a very feisty energy, an energy you will, this is someone who doesn't back down, sometimes a very negative energy as well. So I do believe that the government will just push forward, but the people will have this same energy. So they're going to meet this energy as well. They're going to push back. And that's what's going on. So it was upside down. So it will look like it's changing in the wrong direction. But with the Hanged Man and with the Magician, it is going, and it's necessary to keep this moving, to really get this moving in the right direction. These are three major arcana cards. So this is so important for the people in France, for the energy in France. And we have the Hanged Man. So that's interesting. Hanged Man is that people have to look at it in a very different way. Just because you're standing up for yourself, see in what energy you are standing up for yourself. If you are, in a way, still standing up with the same negative energy they are pushing you down with, it's very important to understand that you have to stand in your strength and not push back from hatred or push back from anger in a very negative way, from an aggressive anger. So I think that probably is the problem, that the people in France will have to do it from a place of strength and really trusting that they can handle this, trusting that they are in their rights and not act. It's very important to understand that if you get together with people, if you stand up, that you stand up from a place of strength, of trust, so that you don't get dragged down with that energy. Especially in France, they really are pushing and pushing. And like I said, what Macron said about these people, that he doesn't consider them citizens anymore, so they really don't have any rights, and he's just going to, well, pretty much be awful to them. It's good to see that, because you don't want to push back with that same energy. You want to push back, but it's important that you do it from a connection with God, from a connection inside yourself. You will be more calm, you will be more loving, you will be more in true alignment with yourself and who we are as spiritual beings. So I think that needs to change, and it will. I think the people there are changing and understanding we are spiritual beings with a human experience, not the different way around. If you just see yourself as human, you're going to fight, and you're going to be very angry, but in a very negative way, and you're just going to reflect this energy that they have and just reflect it back. So I think there's going to be a change in that. I think that's what it's a change in energy. I'm starting to really understand these cards now. Like, this is about changing the energy. So I think so far, people in France that have been standing up from this negative place. Like, we're not tolerating this, but from a very negative way. And in that way, unfortunately, you are actually helping them, because you lower your energy. And you're not standing there from connection. You're not standing there from the love for yourself and for God and for everyone around you. That is a different energy. So I think that's going to change. And when that changes, the wheel of fortune will start going in the right direction. And I truly feel, especially with the magician, that that's going to change very clearly in France. So I think that's what this is about. So that's very interesting. Now, I also want to take a look at South Africa, where the parliament was burned down, I think January 2nd. But very interesting, the parliament was a Masonic lodge, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm reading correctly. If I'm not sure if it still was at the time that they were using it. Let me see. The history of the parliament is Queen Victoria granted permission for the establishment of a parliament in the Cape Colony in 1853. The first sittings were held in the governor's residence, the Townhouse, after which sittings were held in the Goede Hoop Masonic Lodge. This building was used by the South African Freemasons. The lodge were called the Goede Hoop, which means the Good Hope. The then upper house was housed in the old Supreme Court building, which itself has been the slave lodge under VOC rule. So this is very interesting, that this building was used as a lodge, and it burned down on January 2nd. I believe they picked up someone that apparently done this, a 49-year-old man. But I had someone living there that actually mentioned it most likely is an actor, and that this was put into motion. So I just want to take a look at the energy of South Africa. Not a lot of people got the wasp stings. A lot of sites were closed down. But interesting enough, they have approved for 5 and 11-year-olds to get the wasp sting. So what is going on in South Africa? So let's see what the energy is. This is the 8 of Wands, that's the card above. This is the 8 of Pentacles, so 2 8s. We've got Justice reversed in the past. We have the Queen of Cups underneath the central card. And we have the 6 of Wands. This is interesting. So things are going to move ahead. How fast? I do believe there are a lot of earthquakes going on at 10 kilometers and 3 kilometers. So that means that they are really cleaning up things. There's a lot going on underneath South Africa, probably everywhere around the world, but also South Africa is really a very important country. A lot of things going on underneath, and they're really working hard, and it's moving fast. So it's a lot of things are going on there. So of course it's no coincidence whatsoever they burned down that parliament. It's about connecting again. It's about bringing people together again, about restoring that female principle we've been missing. So there's a lot going on there. And there was a lot of injustice going on. South Africa is pretty much known for a lot of injustice. The history is in a way tainted, unfortunately. I do believe that things are being restored now, but this is justice in the past turned upside down. So I think for a very long time there was no justice, so to speak, in South Africa. And they're turning it now. So things are turning around and they're working hard there. So I think there's a lot going on, especially by the white hats. And they will succeed. This is the card of victory. So I think I feel everything, light has already won. So of course they're going to succeed. But people have to understand that this is a process. It takes time. They really need to be very careful that they've cleared everything. Everything has to go that has any association with all these dark forces. So they really have to clean up, and there's a lot of cleaning up there, but they will be very successful. And I do believe that they're taking over. So it will still look like they're doing things, but like I've said before, a lot of people did not get the wasp sting. I do not believe that they will let their children be stinged as well. If they don't get it themselves, why would they get it for their children? So I do believe there are a lot of things changing. Like I've said, 100 sites have closed down because no one was showing up. So I believe there's already complete, how do you say that? They're looking very differently at it. They also understand because of their past. They know when things are wrong. I do believe that they really feel what is right for them and what is not right. So I do believe that because of their background, they have way more distrust with things that the governments are coming up with. So I believe that that will, in a way, keep them safer because they do not fall for it so easily as other countries would. So there's going to be a victory, and I think that this was part of it, and that the parliament burning down, especially because it has a Masonic lodge in there, or was a Masonic lodge. I'm not sure if it still is. Wouldn't surprise me at all that it was still maintained that way in 2022, but it's been burned down, so that energy is being cleared. And I do think we're going to expect more things. It's going to very fast in South Africa. A lot of things, and the pace is going to be immense. So I want to leave it at this, and then I hope to see you in another video. Bye!